So good evening, everyone. Actually, he said I don't need technology support. Actually, I am technologically challenged. So I thought, let me do what I can do best, speak without a PPT. First of all, thank you to all of you for attempting to listen to 20 of us back to back. It takes a lot of patience and resolve, not an easy job at all. So one fine morning, I got a call from Mr. Roy of Images, and he said, Anant, 5 minutes hai kya? I said, any time for you, sir. I didn't know this was the 5 minutes he was talking about, and it led me here. He was kind enough to suggest few topics to me. He said, Anant, why don't you talk about 5 blunders of your life? Or how about what you learned from your failures? Or yet about how you failed but never gave up. I think of all the people out here, he's convinced I am the best guy to talk about failures. But I knew people would be talking about failures, so I thought, let me share with you few lessons which I have learned from fewer successes that I have had. I think what can stop greater success is success itself. That's where we start feeling confident, we start feeling complacent, and I think it's very important to avoid this trap. And to do that, I follow my own little rule book, 6 cardinal rules, which keeps me going in my times of success. Rule number 1, selective focus. When the things are going great, there's an urge to do a lot more. You want to do new things all the time. I have people coming to me and saying, why don't you inverse W, make it M, and launch menswear? Or why don't you put W in a lowercase and launch kidswear? Guys, take initiatives. But I think one should choose the battles very, very carefully. And once you have chosen the battle to fight, fight it better than anyone else. Give it your 100% intent and intensity. Don't try to dilute your bandwidth beyond a point. The idea is to focus, focus, and focus. Rule number 2, being better than before. See, till a point in time, you will have competition to drive you. But if you are good, believe you me, there will be a time when you'll have no competition left to compete with. Your own self will become your competition. And then the goal is to beat your formal self every single day, every single time. That, to my mind, is path to excellence, to discover your own best version. Rule number 3, challenging status quo. अरे यार ये तो ऐसे ही होता है, ये तो हम कर चुके हैं, धूप में थोड़ी ना बाल सफ़ेद किए या कम किए, whatever, right? The point is we all use these phrases, but I think these are the very phrases which needs to be out of our dictionary sooner than later. Every great company, no matter how successful they were, if they have not reinvented themselves, they went downhill. We should have the courage and we should have the humility to challenge the very assumptions which has made us successful in the first place and think afresh all the time. Rule number 4, simplify complexity. I think when you are in a good run, and that was for long, you start finding things too easy, too simple. And at times, lack of complexity actually unsettles you. I think human mind is obsessed with the idea of complicating things. First we complicate things, then we find even more complicated solution. And then we say, ab maza aaya. I think the idea is to keep it simple. Simple solutions are most elegant, most effective. Life is already complex. Let's not complicate more. Rule number 5, constructive paranoia. If I come and tell you that I'm a paranoid, you'll say, this man needs help. But tell me, as managers, isn't it our fundamental duty to figure out what can go wrong? Especially when everything is going right, then the most logical event to follow is that something can go wrong. I think as managers, we need to have this anticipation, this intuition of figuring out what can go wrong and set it right even before that happens. It's said, success breeds complacency, complacency breeds failure, only a paranoid survives. Be alert, be aware. Last but not the least, will to win. See, there are 2 ways to look at success. 1, how far you have come. Second, how far can you go? I would rather drive my car looking at the windscreen than the rear view mirror. Success you should be proud of, success you should celebrate, but there should be no success overhang. The fire in the belly has to ignite as strong as ever. And finally, as I sign off, you guys will have to judge for yourself whether these rules apply to you or not. See, something that has worked for me might not work for you guys. Or maybe they might. Your call. Thank you.
That was wonderful.